Okay, so we've got in banana that spawns. Next, let's set up the cutting system, shall we? So we're gonna do this by doing like a line cast under the mouse. So let's just go ahead and create a new pawn. Let's do a new pawn. Player inputs. I don't know, it's not a very good name. I'm just calling it player inputs. Whatever, that'll do fine. And let's bring that over. And for now, we're not going to bother adding anything to there, but we're just going to do everything directly in here. What I will do first, though, is show mouse. Untick context sensitive, if you want to get that. And tick that back on, and don't forget to get your play controller. Cool. And what we're going to do, let's just do a left mouse click. We might set up proper inputs for this later on, but for now, let's just do left mouse click, left mouse button for the sake of testing. Because this gives us pressed and released, and that'll do. We're going to want a boolean to check if the button is pressed, if our finger is down. So let's call this can cut. I'm just creating a new boolean. And let's drag that on and set it. So if it's released, we can't cut. If we're pressed, we can cut. Cool. Excellent. Okay. What now? Well, we're probably going to want to get our position from where we first press to where we let go. So what's going to be the best for this? Let's get mouse position on viewport. And let's set this to start pause. So a start position. And let's do the same thing again for when we release it. Get mouse position. And this will be end. Oops, let's promote. End pause. For when we are done clicking. When we're done clicking. And if we still got a tick, we do. So on tick, let's ask the question if we can cut. If we can cut, then what should we do? If we can cut, let's do a line trace. Let's do a line trace. So let's line trace, or maybe even sphere trace. We'll just do line trace by channel for now. And what we want to get where the mouse is, and like directly underneath it, so it looks like the mouse is on top of it. And we're going to do so by get the player controller again, and we're going to use this awesome node called convert mouse to world space. Convert mouse location to world space. And that's going to be our start point. But what we're also going to want to do is check a certain distance in front of us, and to do so, let's just get our direction and do a multiply button. We're just going to change this to a float. And this is sort of like how far you want to sort of cast in front of you. So increase that number or as desired, and that'll be our endpoint. And let's just put it on persistent, shall we, and show a quick test. Nothing's happening because I've not put my player in the level. Let's put it in, make sure we set to auto possess, and try it again. Cool, so you can see if I click over it, some red dots are appearing when I click on them. Excellent. So let's test this properly, shall we? And let's get our banana back, and instead of cutting it here, let's cut it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say let's break the hit, and let's say if the other actor, if the hit actor is the banana, cast banana, then cut it. Maybe let's do a couple of like is valids in here. Is valid. Okay, so now it's not going to automatically cut until we click it. And then we click, and you see it get cut there. Click. There's a couple of things that are sort of happening. As soon as you click it, it's sort of losing its Z velocity. And it's not actually as poppy out as I'd like it to be. Attempt to access the whole via property pending kill. Destroy actor. So let's just put a couple of is valids in. Oops. Is valid. If it's not valid, yeah, that means it's already done once. Or maybe we just want like a do once in there actually, even instead, because it's probably just firing multiple times when we click it. So do once would probably also be fine. I'm just going to turn off the debug on that. I'm also going to add a little bit more of a pop to these guys. You could probably add like a radial force and stick that like in like, you know, the middle of them. But I'm not going to. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add some force. Just because radial force rarely ever works properly for me. I find it more hassle than I would like it to be. What is that force going to be? Well, it's going to be random. It's going to be random. It's going to be random float in range. What's it going to be? Between, I don't know, minus 500 and positive 500. Let's see. Okay, that didn't move at all. Stick a couple of zeros in there. Okay. There we go, that feels a bit more. I mean, actually, it's probably too high now, but you know, you can tweak these as appropriate. Let's duplicate it as well for the other side. Yeah, numbers are still a bit too high. What actually might be quite nice is if we sort of detect the direction that we're cutting. So, a couple of quick things. Let's just rotate the banana. Rotate the hole and let's put it back down and it's boom. That way it look like it's sort of coming upwards. Yeah, those numbers are way too high, man. Let's just set it to like half it again. Okay. What was I saying? Yes, it'd be nice to potentially detect it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my input. And so you see we've got these starting positions. Well, we can actually do a couple of things with those. If we get the end position, for example, we get the start position, and we subtract them from each other, then that right there is going to give us a direction. So let's do it on after we release. Let's just do a quick print string. Print string. And let's have a quick look-see. So if I swipe up, notice that that y is a negative number. So I can essentially say if, let's just break it. Break vector if y is less than 0. I'm just going to, just for the sake of test, let's have a look at this. We'll do another print string, and this time we'll say, then we have swiped up. Or was it down? Yeah, so we swiped up, which means if y is negative, then we have swiped down. Let's test again. So down, up, down, up, down, up. Cool, so we can get that. We can also check this one. I should put that on a sequence. There, and essentially, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate you guys. You guys ever find that Control D works sometimes and not other times? Okay, if you are less than, then you will be left and you will be right. Or the other way around. So if we swipe left and right. So if I swipe left and down, if I swipe up and right, you can see it's printing both those out. What I'm going to do with that right now, I don't particularly know. I suppose what I could do is if I had another variation of this banana, so that was cut horizontally. If I had another variation where it's cut vertically, and then I sort of chose to spawn in the relevant mesh, that'd potentially be quite good. I wonder if we could potentially use this as well to add that force. Yeah. We could use it to add that force, and that way at least it sort of feel like we're pushing it in a particular direction. Yes, but off the top of my head, what is that maths? What is that maths? So if it's right, let's just do x, for example. And I'm just going to set this to see what right is, so like 550,000. Is it x or is it y? Okay, so it's y. So, like I said, just making this up as I'm going. See, that, if I'm cutting right, is going to feel quite nice. So, let's actually take this value here and promote it as a variable. Swipe direction. Which at the moment is at like 50,000. And let's go back to here. And before we cut it, let's tell this, let's set the swipe direction. Set the swipe direction based on this. So if it's right, then that, and if it's left, so we're just going to need to get you guys again. This is getting a bit messy. I apologise. This is getting messy. Right. So I should use you. So if it's valid, we are going to set you to be 50,000 or minus 50,000. Alright. I think this is making sense. But we're not getting the end pause until we release, and obviously this is happening at the sort of time. So instead of getting the end pause, when this is hit, instead let's get a new get mouse position. So instead of using the end pause, we'll use that. Because we're not actually getting the end pause until we release the mouse. And then let's cut it. Right, let's test that. In theory, if I swipe right, the thing should go right. If I was any good at this, oh my gosh, there we go. Now let's try left. Cool, okay. That's actually feels quite nice. It feels like I'm having direct input on the actual thing itself. Nice. We could do a similar thing for up and down, and we probably will, but at this point, yeah, let's stop there for a bit because we are coming up to quite a long video. But there you go. That's the next steps on this. Some more inputs going on. Hope you found that one useful. What we're going to do next time, I don't know. Maybe some particle systems, maybe a trail, maybe the splatter. We'll have a look.